is Monday during a Georgia football season, which means I got a film study coming for you.
We just stepped on their face with a hobtail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is a Tuesday here on the network, Film Guy Network. Welcome in. Probably got some new viewers. Probably got some current viewers, some normal viewers going, why in the heck is this guy of all guys talking Tennessee and Alabama football? Well, it was a great game this weekend, and Georgia kind of handled Vanderbilt as per usual, as kind of expected for the number one team in the country to do. And there was perhaps the greatest football game of the year going on up in Knoxville. And it featured two opponents that Georgia is not only extremely familiar with, but most likely, at least for sure with one of the opponents, most likely with the other one, going to see both of these guys down the road, right? That being Tennessee and Alabama. So had a lot of requests from our subscribers, a lot of people over there on patreon.com/Brooks Austin that wanted to learn, like, hey, what are they doing? Especially Tennessee. What is Tennessee doing to put up the amount of offense that they do and score the amount of points that they do? We're going to educate you guys today on that, and it'll give you kind of a preview of what to expect for November 5th, as well as kind of point out some, I think, what are flaws with Alabama today. Let's handle some business before I tell you exactly what you're going to see today. If you're watching us and you're new today and you like anything that you're doing or that we're doing here, hit that thumbs up button. That's how you support not only the current show that you're watching, but subscribe to the channel as well. That's how you support us moving forward. Appreciate you guys for being here. If you like any of the film study, head over to patreon.com/Brooks Austin. There's loads of it over there. Without further ado, let's talk a little bit more about this specific football game and what we're going to do today. We're only going to watch the second half. I think this game was kind of decided in the last 20 minutes. Okay, there was a lot that led up to it, right? But with 20 minutes left in this football game, it was kind of knotted up, and it was up for grabs. Who's going to go get it, right? We're going to go watch that portion of the football game, and I think you're going to find out two things. I think you have one football team in Tennessee that is a football team that answered every single momentum-changing event that there was in this football game. Every single bad break that didn't go their way. I mean, absolutely stared it right in the face and continued to play football. Okay, I think they had an offensive game plan that is them. They have an offensive identity that is them. They don't change. And defensively, I thought they had about the only game plan that made any kind of sense if you know anything about their roster. Georgia fans were giving me hell today talking about, oh, it was a good defensive performance, giving up 49 points. No, it is not. They gave up a lot of points. But the way in which that I'm about to show you, they stayed committed to their game plan, which was to send 5 most of the time, sometimes 6, play a lot of man coverage, and when you play zone, do so out of blitz packages, right? That game plan from first quarter to fourth quarter didn't shake off of it. And when they needed plays, when they needed stops in this football game, early, after the first score, they got 3 stops in a row, help them get out to that 18-point lead. Late in the football game, they get a stop right there to kind of, not a stop, but 2 downs, critical downs. They get pressure and flush Bryce Young in the time that they needed to force a 50-yard field goal. So say what you want about the defense. We're going to show you that there was a concerted effort to kind of make Bryce Young be great, and God, was he great. Go look through the play-by-play charts of this Alabama offense from Saturday. Bunch of 10, 11-play scoring drives, right? There was a player, a series or two that are 3, 5, and 7-play scoring drives. But a lot of this was number 9 being really, really great. And we're going to show you that today. And I think that's the other thing that you're going to see. You're going to see an Alabama football team that is number 9 in Bryce Young, fixing a whole lot of issues and figuring a whole lot of things out all by himself. All right, without further ado, let's shut up and let's grind the tape. All right, so just to let you know, at this point in the football game, okay, there, as you can see, 11 minutes and 11 seconds left in the third quarter. At this point in the game, obviously, U2 came out hot, had an 18-point lead. Alabama crawled back into that game right before the half. Right before this, they were down 7. Alabama drove the length of the field, scored in their first possession of the second half. Tennessee's getting it right now, their second time out, okay, in the second half. So here you go. This is kind of a good picture of who Tennessee was on Saturday. They had to run Hendon Hooker. They knew it. They will have to run him against Georgia. They will have to run him in every tight football game that they have to move forward because he helps them stay ahead of the chains. I thought the other thing, and Gary Danielson, God, did he beat it into the ground on Saturday. This offensive coordinator and this coaching staff was very, very adamant about running the football and continuing to run the football. And why wouldn't he? Because they had a tremendous amount of success, and they didn't have success because they didn't know what they were doing. Okay, Bama started to get in this kind of what I would call kind of like an odd flexed front, right? Having Dallas Turner, the defensive end, stand out here over kind of the end. It's a mint front defense, right? So what Tennessee does is they kind of block down all over here, right? And then they pull the backside tackle and kind of chip him on Henry To'oTo'o. This is kind of their run game adjustment to the mint front defense. Georgia's most likely going to see something very, very similar when they see them November 5th. So this was kind of their adjustment, being Tennessee. You got to give them credit, man. They're ripping off 11, 15-yard gashers, right? That's them running the football right there. And again, you'll see this way out as the football game progresses. Midway through the fourth quarter, the last possession, they got it before the 2-minute drill there to end the football game. Tennessee, I believe, called 7 straight run plays with 6.5 minutes left on the clock. This is an air raid, super fast football team. And they ran 7 run plays in a row, middle of the fourth quarter, to ice the football game or finish off the football game against Alabama. That's not something you typically come to, kind of correlate with Tennessee and spread offenses, if you will. However, bombing out a bunch is what we're going to call this from now on. Bunching, stacking, whatever you want to call it. They started these guys really, really tight. And what it forces defenses to do, okay, is play one of two things. You either play this guy having the inside release, okay, the inside release man-to-man, okay, carrying it vertically, which is exactly what happens here, okay, and then you leave the stacked guy on the furthest out, okay? You're running man coverage, essentially. Stacking formations like this force defenses to basically tell you what they're running, not only, but kind of only do a couple of things out of it. Okay, you can either kind of play this guy underneath, this guy outside, and this guy over the top, kind of play like a stacked hybrid zone over it, or you do what most teams do, which is just play man-to-man out of it, okay, with attempted safety help. But guys, we better hurry up. We got to interview Ryan Puglisi here in a second. You'll notice that like all the spacing from this football team, right? This spacing all the way out here causes this safety to kind of drag himself all the way out here, right? And he can't get back into the picture. And all they do is run an out and up right here to Hyatt, who was open all day long on these types of events. And people will ask me, Brooks, why didn't they give 2 help? Why did they let 2 keep getting bombed on like this? Part of it is because Tennessee does not allow you, okay? Most teams have to line up and play some type of man coverage against these guys, or man down here on the bottom and zone down here on the top, or up here on the top. Look, these are the only guys that are really playing zone coverage. Everybody else has eyes on a wide receiver. Okay, so how do you beat it? Well, if it's Georgia, this guy, Malachi Starks, is really, really going to have to run with that guy, right? How do you beat it? Have better cover guys at safety. That's the only way to beat it. Trust me, if there were a way to make sure that the safety weren't one-on-one with a wide receiver running directly by him, I'm pretty sure Nick Saban and this defensive staff would have probably figured it out. In the last 2 years, they've had a litany of guys running deep on them. Cedric Tillman's cooked them last year, and now Hyatt got him this year. This is an absolute chaotic drive right here. This is the next possession, and this is kind of like a complete dichotomy of what this football team is and what it's going to be like for Bryce Young this year. The first play is an incompletion. The second play is him just being magical. Okay, this is what it is. This is kind of their offense too. Sometimes it feels like. Sometimes it feels like, hey, 9, just hold the ball until we can run somebody to green grass and then make a play. Okay, it's part of the reason why he's so great. I mean, it is the reason why he's so great. His ability to do all these things on the run make them really, really hard to defend, right? I mean, no duh. You can say what they want about their defensive backs core. Nobody can cover this long. This guy's making really, really great plays with his legs, extending plays, and then being able to set his feet right there and get a ball thrown 20, 25 yards down the field. That's an elite football play, right? But it also, it's going to get this guy eventually. I don't like to say guys eventually are going to get hurt, but you'll see him. Man, watch him on Saturdays. He's not one of these guys that avoids hits for 4 quarters. He gets hit. We're going to watch him tonight get absolutely lit up, particularly on the goal line. Where are we going next? Let's go to 223. We get a replay of that play we just showed you. So Alabama offense has kind of been it's kind of been a mixture of what Sark brought over from a long, long time ago, okay, and kind of staying there. Georgia will do this as well. This guy isn't a glorified offensive lineman. Ignore him. You see 85 and knee braces on the field, ignore him. He is blocking, okay? This kind of deep over concept and running guys off and then running some motion here. This is all Steve Sarkisian, okay? Run guys to green grass, not running routes, right? We call these dovers, deep overs right here, kind of crisscross, applesauce everybody, and hope that we can protect the quarterback long enough for him to kind of dribble around, and then release this ball from here and hit that deep over. And hopefully we don't get the corner defender down here on the bottom sneaking into it right here. Watch this. Okay. Hopefully we got a quarterback good enough to make that throw on the run. This is like an 8-play scoring drive, and I think 40% of the total yardage comes on these two throws that are absolutely phenomenal from 9. Absolutely phenomenal for 9. And then, look at that. Woo. And then they get in the red zone, right? Check the right tackle. J.C. Latham. Loved him coming out of high school. I think he's more of a guard. Okay, watch him over here. That's a hut. He flinches. False start in the red zone right there. Okay. So then they get back on the ball. They run it. They run the ball for 2 yards. They finally get Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground, does Tennessee. Felt like he was running loose all day, right? And then here on 2nd and goal, man, this is 100% what we would call a designed winner. I would absolutely call this a designed winner. They're going to motion JoJo Earl out. It's going to drag the corner defender out, okay? And then they're going to run him on kind of like a little sit and then run Jahmyr Gibbs on a swing route. Basically, as the safety rotates over and Brandon Turnage kind of sinks back, basically it leaves Brandon Turnage, number 8 right here, all one-on-one against Jahmyr Gibbs right here in the alley. Okay, this is the whole design of this football play is to get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback into Jahmyr Gibbs' hands right now and get him that shot right there. One-on-one, get to the pylon. Turnage does a great job of actually making the play. Okay, you get a good look at it here from the tight. See, Ja'Cory Brooks pushing vertically right here, pushing vertically causes Turnage to run back with him, right? Because what happens if he double hooks? Okay, I have that deep third. I got to push vertically as he pushes vertically until the ball is released, and then I got to chase down and make this tackle. It's actually a really, really well-designed play from Alabama and a really good execution of a tackle out in open space by Brandon Turnage. So we got some good stuff going on right here, right? Now they get a defensive false start. Absolute chaos in this football game going on. Now, Alabama comes out, and the stadium is just going absolutely bananas, okay? Alabama comes out in a mush huddle, okay? You guys, the Georgia fans, have seen this. He comes out in a mush huddle. Now, Tennessee has already switched in all the big bodies. But as you can see, this guy's calling for another one. They've only got 10. I bet if we count them up, we've only got 10. They're calling for another corner. They don't have a corner on the field. As they break the huddle, you're going to watch Ja'Cory Thomas run straight to the top of the screen. Nobody around him. He's all out there all by himself, okay? And Bryce Young just happens to miss it. Alabama's the one who actually calls the timeout right here when it should be Tennessee. Watch this. Ja'Cory Thomas is running out there all by himself. Zero's the one who's got to run all the way over there and cover him. Just too much going on. And too much of an insane environment for 9 to catch on to that one. Has to call a timeout, okay? They come back out of the timeout, and they design another absolute winner, okay? Another absolute winner. Motion in, hand out. I mean, it's walked into the end zone, except for these 2 guys get holds, okay? These 2 guys get holds. It's like every time they had an opportunity to go get a play, go make a play, flag on the ground, flag on the ground. And this was blatant. They called on 54. 54 definitely holds. He's sitting here acting like he didn't. We're about to show you hands are outside 100% on 54. Okay, right there. There's his right paw. Why are you doing that? There's his right paw. Okay, that's the hold, though. The J.C. Latham one is absolutely brutal if you go back and look at it. J.C. Latham, the right guard. We'll see the right hand from 54 come in. Steen right there with the taped hand and the taped wrist. Okay, he's outside the framework. That's considered a hold. But watch 55 right here. This one's the bad one. I mean, this is a wrestling move right here. That's a hold, 100%. Okay, throw the flag. We'll see. So now what was a first and goal, okay, from the 1, it felt like, or second and goal from the 1, is now a third and goal from the 11, and 9's going to have to go make some stuff happen. Actually, got another false start. That's 100% typical right there. 100% typical. All the way back to a third and goal from the 16, and then he scrambles around again, manages to get his feet set again at the last moment right here and throw a ball into the end zone. Tennessee's DB completely panics. Another pass interference. Okay, so it's just a whole series basically of 9 being really, really special and just figuring out a way to matriculate his football team down the field, right? Also, Burton was about to take his helmet off right there until he realized there was a flag. Next play, walk-in touchdown. I love this as well. Okay, heat of the moment on the road. Look at all the adjustments. Flips the entire play like he just pressed square R2 on NCAA 14. Okay, flips the entire play because here's why, right? All they're doing is they know they're a cover 0 team in the red zone, right? So he wants to run wide zone this way and have these 2 guys win their 2 blocks while we just run right into that spot right there. Okay, but we can't run to space. We can't run wide zone from the right hash. We don't want to run that to the right. We want to run that to the left. We want to run that to the green grass. So all he does is he comes down to the line of scrimmage and tells everybody to flip. Okay? Downset hut, walk-in touchdown. Downset hut, walk-in touchdown. So here's Tennessee, right? They come out after the half. They start moving the ball down the field. They get stopped on a 4th and 5. And then, Alabama goes down, scores. Tennessee comes back, answers. They're trading blows right now, right? Trading blows. So here you go. Your turn to throw a punch, 35-34. Your turn to return that. Your time to return that punch here on 3rd and 6. And what happens? Well, what happens is you really get your first piece of adversity right here as a football team at home against a really, really good football team who's kind of dominated you for 2 decades, right? Hendon Hooker gets pressure in his face. They finally get to his feet. He kind of has to throw it a little uncomfortably, right? And the ball sails on him. Pick, 3rd and 6, Alabama's football, right? All the momentum in the world going to Alabama. All the momentum in the world going to Alabama. Defense hadn't gotten a stop in like 5 possessions. So now you're thinking on the other sideline, daggum, they just scored. They just picked us off. They're probably going to go score again. Our defense hasn't really stopped nobody. Fans in the stands, all panicking. Everybody quiet. Hendon Hooker over on the sideline going, damn it. Okay? So now your defense got to come back out, right? And though they are not great, they're not even good, I wouldn't even say. They had to be relatively good in moments on Saturday night, this being one of them. You had to get a stop right here for Tennessee. So they stuck to the game plan. Did everything that they had done previously. You got to tackle, though. It starts with stopping the run, right? You know that. That's the SEC football. It starts with stopping the run. They got to tackle right there on 1st down, okay? And right here on 807, okay? I can hear this staff watching the film all week. I can just hear them saying, guys, we're going to live and die by it. We are going to live and die by pressuring and playing man. We're going to send 5, send 6, and we're going to play man coverage. And guess what? If they beat us, they beat us. Rally to the football, get their butt down. We're going to live to fight the next down. But we're not going to be scared. We're not going to waver from our game plan. We are going to do it. We're going to do it. Even if it means our guys are going to give up 2 or 3 yards. We're going to make him not choose this player. We're going to make him select the right guy every single time. We're going to make this guy beat us, okay? For 14, 12, 11, 10 play drives. We're going to make that guy beat us, and we're going to try. We're never once, not once, going to back off our game plan. We're going to live and die by it, right? And here's what it did. What it did in my mind for this football team. Okay, the coach's confidence in this game plan of this, like, we're not going to be scared of these guys no matter what shakes. We're not going to fold. We're not going to get off our game plan. We're going to live by it, right? What does it do? It establishes a sense of confidence in your players, right? Your players like this guy right here starts playing like his daggum hair's on fire because he's confident in his assignment. You're not calling in different things, second guessing yourself as a coach. You're letting the boys play, right? You're letting the boys play, so they're getting tackles. They're getting TFLs. They're going out and getting stops when they need to, right? They're creating havoc plays. Right here on 2nd and 12. Obvious passing downs. What have you been doing all day, right? What have you been doing all day? You've been pressuring the quarterback. This time, okay, you bring pressure from space, okay? Drop a zone blitz, right? You brought pressure right here from the corner. Drop zone behind it. Immediately, quarterback checks down right here. What do you have to do? Well, by God, you got to rally to the football. You got to rally to the football and get them down. Great job, one. Live for the next down. Here we go. 3rd and long. We got them where we need them. 3rd and long right here. If you're the defensive coordinator, what have you been doing on 3rd and long all day? What have you been doing on 3rd and long all day? You've been bringing pressure, right? You've been bringing pressure. But first, what have they been doing on 3rd and long all day? They've been choking it. False starting because the fans are going nuts, right? So they're going to false start right here and force this into a 3rd and 13 as opposed to 3rd and 8 because that's just the way this game broke out, right? But it ain't just the way this game's broke out for Alabama, by the way. I tweeted this today. Alabama fans, if you're watching this today, this wasn't just because Neyland Stadium was rocking. Y'all are a penalty-riddled team. That's what Alabama is this year, just a penalty-filled team. Texas, you had a bunch of them. This week you had a bunch of them. I think there was another game. You had 16, 17 penalties as well this year. So not great, Bob. Not great. Right here on 3rd and 13, they dial up a beautiful simulated pressure and force another check down. So, right, they've been bringing pressure all day long. They walk a whole bunch of bodies up into the box. Okay, this is something Georgia has brought or kind of brought to college football, but they end up going to wrap right here off the simulated pressure. No fear in the game plan. Boom. They get a hit, get it checked down, rally to the football, get off the field. They needed that stop, had to have it. If Alabama scores right there, all the momentum in the world going towards the Tide. 4-man zone pressure. So, your defense got the stop it needed, right? Alabama comes out, pins your butt deep. You got to have an answer, okay? You got to have a score right here. Got to keep trading blows. Ball on your own 6, okay? So what are you going to do? Well, I would be running the football. Their offensive coordinator really trusts this guy, okay? Because when you have a quarterback this good, you can do things like this. Ball backed up, ball inside the 7, right? We're going to ask Hendon, get your feet set, rip that comeback right there to Hyatt, and let's get going, right? Let's get out of our own end, okay? Very next play, get right back on the ball, and then run it right down their throat. Halfback or H-back ISO is what I call this. They're going to outside release here. They're going to block down. They're going to lead the H-back up on Henry Toto, and they're going to ISO that back right there in front side B gap, okay? This was their secondary adjustment, just inserting the H-back and just plugging him right down the middle. Every time I felt like they ran the football Saturday, they had success on film. It looked really good. That's a testament to that offensive line. I think they get right back on the ball and run it right here. Nope. They bunch and bomb again. Okay, here it is. Guys, I mean, talk about answering the football or answering what it requires to win that day, right? Again, when you bunch, all you're doing is giving this guy right here, what's that? He's at the 21-yard line, and he's at about the 27, or he's at the 19, he's about the 27. You got about a 9-yard cushion to build up as much momentum and speed and double move this guy at the top of the break, push up on his toes, and go, right? And every single time, for some reason, these guys seem shocked that Tennessee guy is running right by. Absolutely shocked that wide receiver is just floating right by him, but he does. Hyatt just keeps running right by him. You'll see on the replay. It's a great ball, and there's really no option for two. I saw some screenshots of this on Twitter today of people asking, why is the safety working towards the field? He's got to. He's got to. His responsibility say he's got to open up to the middle of the field, get to the middle of the field, square his hips, and then read and react. Look, okay? Because they're having run support, they're going to roll and rock, okay? They're going to roll the field side safety down for run support because they've been getting hammered by H-back ISO, okay? So now you, sir, are all the way out there, okay? All the way out there, well outside the numbers, all by yourself. You two at the snap have to roll to the middle of the field, get your shoulders and hips square, and read and react. Read the eyes of the quarterback and get help over top wherever we can get it. You two have to sort this out and identify the man coverage when need be, which means 11's going to push up on you 13 faster than you can hiccup, which means you better be in a pedal immediately off the snap, and he's not. 13 more right here kind of catches this right here. Watch him in his pedal, okay? He's still flat-footed, and breaks as if he is about to get an inward breaking route. Hyatt runs right by his face, just right by his face. A lot going on right there. But yeah, had a lot of questions about why did the safety go to the middle of the field. He had to. They had gotten to the point where they were running the ball to a successful rate enough to where they had to bring a safety down into the box and run support. But to me, it all starts with their willingness to trust their quarterback backed up inside their own 6. Okay, let's pause this. It starts with them trusting their quarterback inside their own 6. Okay, and then immediately at 2nd and 2, lining up on the football and running the ball for 11 yards. They get a 1st and 10 ball at the 36 before Alabama can even catch a breath on a play on a possession that started inside their own 6. Normally what do teams do? They just hand the ball off, get stuffed, hand the ball off, get stuffed. 3rd down, they might roll the quarterback right and then bring the punt unit on, right? Most of the time in college football, if you don't have great quarterback play, situations where you're pinned up inside your own 5, 9 times out of 10, you're punting that football. The last thing you're doing is ripping 12-yard comebacks, on 1st down. And then I love this. Of course, this dude in this football game had the perfect 2-point conversion dialed up. Okay, most teams act like they're going to sprint option this. They don't even do it. This running back goes straight down and blocks whoever or draws as much attention as he possibly can. And then they run, a little Travis Kelce H-back shovel pass. Little Travis Kelce H-back shovel pass. Here we go. There it is. You should get a good look at it. Of course, they had it dialed up. Next drive right here is just nothing but 9 and number 1 being really, really great. Okay. When I think of Jahmyr Gibbs, I definitely think of Alvin Kamara with maybe a little bit more top end juice. He just looks like he moves faster than everybody else, and everything looks easier than everybody else. This is a very, very quick scoring drive of just, again, 1 and 9 being really, really special. They get them right here. 1st and 10, they dial up pressure, okay? And they don't actually dial up pressure. This is just a straight-up miss. Here's a novel idea, Alabama. Let's get to the replay. Here's a novel idea. This is so silly. This should not happen to – honestly, we're going to blame the quarterback on this too. We've been sitting here, ranting and raving about the dude all night. There's no reason for this to happen, okay? Check this out. We know on this channel we talk bigs block bigs. Big guys block big guys all the time. So when 14 walks into the box, hey, buddy, that is not your guy. That is not your guy. That is somebody that we have to account for. So normally when you walk into a tight end situation like this right here, a 2-tight pro personnel type of situation, this left tackle will look at this tight end and go, hey, in or out? Meaning, are you in on the play? Are you in on pass protection? Or are you out? Are you going to run a route? So if you get an out call, okay, if the guy tells you he's out, that means the defensive lineman outside, we got to account for him. We can't just let him be a free rusher, particularly not on play action. So that's bad enough. Not only does 54 or the quarterback not slide or at least keep 81 in for the additional rusher, but this guy blocks down and allows 21 to cross his face. So not only did they have the wrong assignment, they didn't even execute the assignment that they chose. Not very good. Not very good. 54 is just all dead wrong on that play. All dead wrong on that play. So you get sacked, you get them in a 2nd and 24. What happens? What happens? Now this is, you could say this is bad defense. I say this is guys getting lost on defense because they've been dealing with a quarterback that's been scrambling like crazy all day long. The linebacker's got his eyes on the cue right here. This guy, I would imagine, he looks like he's got quarters, don't he? They look like they got quarters, don't they? It looks like quarters, cover 4. So that means you have curl to flat. If nobody presses your curl, you open and expand to the flat. But the problem is, as soon as Bryce Young steps up, he sucks up, and then he dots up over here. Simple. So is it a busted coverage? No. I don't. Oh, yeah. You can call it a busted coverage. Call it what you want. It's 9 moving the football down the field. And then I believe this is another mess right here. Try to run on first down. Try to naked him on first down. Okay. Let's fast forward through all this. Yeah, I don't like this. This scares me. I understand, again, this is why he's so great. But he's not y'all know this, he's not the biggest dude in the world. So are NFL scouts looking at this and going, God, I love that he's competitive? Or are they looking at this and going, dude, if he holds the ball like that on Sundays, we're going to lose $100 million, right? Because, I mean, y'all watch the replays. It looks violent, man. Dude gets hit hard. Everywhere he goes, dude gets hit hard. But, I mean, I can sit here and say all I want. He misses one right there. It's why it makes him so great, right? His ability and willingness to stand in there, extend plays, and do stuff like this are why he is as good as he is. Gary's on the wrong thing. Gary, you're drawing the wrong thing, Gary. Gary, what you need to be drawing right now is you need to pause it and say, watch these guys. Watch these guys right here. As soon as they see Bryce Young break the pocket. That's what you need to be talking about, Gary. Quit drawing the deep or the drag. It's not a drag. Sorry, Gary. Thought Gary had a tough day. Tough day for Garrell. All right, so here we are right here, right? 42-42. You have responded and you have answered. Man, you battled through interceptions. You battled through, getting pinned back in your own end. You battled them responding and scoring touchdowns. You've gone through the ringer at this point in the football game. And then you come out here after running the ball twice with Hendon Hooker, and you put the ball on the turf. Dallas Turner picks it up and runs back to the end zone. I'm telling you right now, University of Alabama, I don't care if you're playing on friggin' Mars and you are the Martians. I don't care where your home field advantage is. When Alabama and you're playing the University of Alabama, you're playing the University of Georgia, you're playing Ohio State, whoever it is, if they have better talent than you and their history says they are better than you and their players know that they're better than the guys that they're playing, the moment you do this, 9 times out of 10, you lose this football game, okay? Unless you have championship culture, unless you have championship DNA about your football team, because that is the reality, okay? Did you see those faces? Those faces, that's the reality of everybody on the sideline too. 9 times out of 10, right there, boom. That's how the whole sideline looks. It ain't just them. It is not just them. That's everybody on that team going, shit, we done lost it again. That's what it feels like. It's gut-wrenching. We just put a ball on the deck after fighting through everything with 6.5 minutes left, and now all of a sudden you're down a game that you were up 18 points in. And you feel like you've been scratching and crawling just to stay in it and just to keep the monster down. All right, just to keep the monster down. And then the very next possession, right? Very next possession, Alabama's got a chance to step on your throat, get you off the field, get their offense back on, right, and continue to milk clock. Here we are, 3rd and 6. All they're going to do is run their tight end Fant right here on a comeback. And Branch gets grabbier and grabbier as the play develops. It's a clear as day pass interference. It's not even really in question. Clear as day pass interference. Don't care if the ball spiked at his feet. You'll see the replay from the snap. As soon as they make contact, he's grabbing him. Watch 14 right here on the bottom of your screen. This is where the hold occurs. I mean, he's all over him. He's all over him. So there you go. Bama can get off the field, can't fail to do it, or can't manage to do it, right? Had an opportunity. So now what's Tennessee do? Well, by God, it looks like it looks. Hey, they're bunching into the boundary, right? Bunching into the boundary. They've been bombing out of that bunch, right? The only thing I don't like, height. I don't know why we motion the tight end into it. All he does is motion the tight end into it, and that just drags the safety and kind of clouds up this window that had been looking so pretty. It's still there, right? He could run right past that joker if he really wants to. It's just, it gets cloudy, in my opinion, when we drag this little tight end over here because everybody kind of bumps and rocks with it. Maybe it's just them showing a different look, but they try to go back to it right there. They try to go for the jugular right after that, pass interference right there on 3rd and 4. About got another one right there. All right, 2nd and 10. I mean, that's important. That's important. Middle of the game, late in the football game, your coordinator staying true to something. Again, both these staffs, or both sides of this staff, offense and defense, told their football team, we are not giving up on the run. We will not give up on the run. I don't care if it's 2nd and 10, we're down 7 points with 6.5 minutes left, ball in the middle of the field. We will be dedicated to running the football Saturday night. We will do it until we can't do it anymore, and eventually, boys, it will pay off. And right now is that eventually. Boom, run the football right there. We know what happens at the end of this possession, guys. There's a pass interference that completely changes the football game. But in my opinion, what you're about to watch is why they won the football game. It is a microcosm of the full 60 minutes. What you're about to watch right now. 2nd and 10, running it down your throat. 3rd and 5, running it down your throat. That is Tennessee football spread air raid, running 85 snaps a game. In the 4th quarter, 3rd and 5, ran H-back ISO right down the gut of your defense. Period, point blank. You want to know why they won the football game? That right there. Every coach in America that's ever come to the SEC, I don't care if they're air raid, I don't care if they're triple freaking option, I don't care if they're pro style, I don't care who they are. Every coach stands up in that podium and says, we have to win the line of scrimmage. If we're going to win, we have to win the line of scrimmage. That's what that looks like in the middle of the 4th quarter. That's what that looks like in the middle of the 4th quarter. Ran it again right there. Here, boom, jump back right on the line of scrimmage. H-back ISO again, give it to me. Okay, pick up 3 yards. Don't matter. Novocaine, baby, give it time, it always works. Novocaine, give it time, it always works. He gets hurt. Okay, come back again. Now we're up to 4 run plays in a row. Get you some, big brother. Get you some, big brother. Think about it. H-back counter. Oh, just, a shoestring tackle right there on 2nd and 7. And they shoestring tackle him again on 3rd and 2. Okay? Shoestring tackle him again right here. Henry Toto sticks his nose in there and gets him down. Now, here's my only problem. Buddy, y'all been so good. Y'all just ran the ball 7 times in a row, averaging about 5 yards a clip in the middle of the 4th quarter. Good offensive line play. And then we get under center, which we are not an under center football team. We get under center, okay, and we try to hand the ball off to the H-back / fullback with nobody over the center. If you look, guys, there's a guy over the guard and a guy over the guard. Now, Payne kind of rotates over late, but it's a half a yard. All they got to do is snap the ball off or snap the ball in a little Tom Brady QB sneak. They pick up a 1st down. They picked up a 1st down on 6 yards of QB sneak earlier in the football game. For some reason, they get a little cute here, okay? Get under center, try to hand the ball off to the tight end. The operation's jacked up. Hendon Hooker doesn't get all of his guys set. They get a false start. Boom, backed up into a 4th and 5. And now you guys know how this ensues, right? This ensues obviously with a pass interference here. I think, in my opinion, based on what the literal definition of pass interference is, this is pass interference. Okay, guys? We can talk about whether or not the flag was thrown late. You can talk about whatever conspiracy theories you have going on your social media feed. I mean, in my opinion, this is the literal definition of pass interference. And here's what I'll show you. We'll talk it through. Okay. Does the defender have his eyes turned around before he makes contact with a receiver? Let's find out. Okay. Answer, no. Okay. Answer, no. Let's go back and watch it again. Okay. As soon as he makes contact with the wide receiver, his eyes have to be on the ball. Okay, here he comes. He's making contact right there, is he not? Okay. The other thing they teach referees, particularly the back judge back here, the one that's literally where the camera is right now, is if you see that offhand pulling any type of jersey or attached to the hip or anything like that, hindering the process of the wide receiver, you have to throw a flag. It's automatic pass interference. So let's watch the offhand of number 13. Boom. Grabs the body. I mean, guys, I don't know if there's anyone on your timelines arguing it. I just don't know. They're obviously wearing crimson colored glasses. Now, the very next play. I mean, it looks like your everyday typical slant coming up right here. God dang it. Your everyday typical slant. But here's what I want y'all to see. And if you coach young quarterbacks or if you've ever been around young quarterbacks, this will make a lot of sense how hard this is. He's going to open up to his left, ride midline action, okay, and then jump his feet all the way back around and throw that slant with his shoulders and his feet square to his target on time. Watch this. His feet and his eyes will start and open this way. His body will open back up, get his feet planted back on the line this way, and rock this football. This is not easy footwork right here, guys. Watch the hips fire. My young Qs, if you're at home, watch this. Watch this front left hip when this ball comes through. Watch it violently open up. Wham! Love it. Kid's got a good stroke, man. That's a dot. Here you get a good look at it. Yeah, he can sling it. All right. Hey, defense. What's going on here? Oh, we replayed it on the. I know what I was doing. We're not going to talk about it. All right. Defense got to get a stop right here, right? I told you. Remember kind of what the game plan was. What was the game plan, guys? The game plan was we're going to pressure these guys. We're going to pressure them. We're going to try to play man coverage if we can, and we're going to live and die with the plan. We're going to live and die with the plan, but we got to get one on the ground first. Let's try to get one on the ground. Okay? Boom. They get one on the ground. All right, next play. Okay? Don't abandon the game plan, right? We said we were going to give at least the simulated pressure, always bring 4, sometimes 5, even 6 if we have to, and we're going to live in man coverage, single high, okay, and not be afraid. Not be afraid at all, okay? And hopefully, our home field advantage can give us some help too, right? Hopefully our home field advantage can give us some help like they did right there as Trayshawn Holden gets a little flinch and a false start. 2nd and 15 right here. I believe, if I remember correctly, Bryce dots him up right here for a first down. Let's get through it. Downset Hut. He's doing a lot of check with me. Hard count. Oh, yeah, I remember this throw. This is absolute dynamo stuff from everybody involved. It's just a better – they always say the cliche, there's no defense for a perfectly thrown football. You guys have seen spot run 100 times at Georgia if you're paying attention. Number 1 or number 2 wide receiver running directly over the ball and stopping, right? Quarterback just absolutely ripping this football. They threw it to Marcus Rosemi-Jack Saint, I think, 3 times on Saturday. Dylan Bell scored on a similar route from Carson Beck on Saturday, if you're a Georgia fan watching today, as most of you guys are. So as this guy runs this dig, this zone defender is doing nothing but watching Bryce's eyes. One does a great job of anticipating this route without seeing the route. He's playing it with his eyes to the quarterback. It's just a damn good throw. The throw does not get any better. I mean, seriously. How he even got it into the window, I don't really know. Great play by all involved, especially 9. All right, 3rd and 2 right here. Okay. Got to live. You cannot give up any points. You've got to get a stop right here defensively if you're going to win this football game. Okay, they give up a halfback angle route on 3rd and 2, but that was all they gave up. They immediately get Jahmyr Gibbs on the ground, right? Talk about rallying and tackling to the football. All right, 1st and 10. Here we go. We need some stops here, guys. We need something. I believe they give up the same kind of play as they did earlier. Okay, 80 right over the middle. Prentice. Okay, again, live and die by the game plan, right? Live and die by the game plan. Simulated pressure. They brought 4. They dropped the zone blitzer, okay, right? But Prentice just gets slipped in right here. The safety doesn't close the space enough, and he doesn't or push number 2 off of his spot, right? Got to get hands on right there. 12, push him off his spot. Does a terrible job of rerouting, as they call right there, okay, and gives up the completion. Now, here's what it all boils down to. Again, they get right back on the football. Bryce Young is adamant on getting on the football. They don't want to spike it. They want to keep playing football. They don't want to waste downs, okay? So here we go. What's Tennessee do? By God, they do the same thing they've been doing all game. Live and die by it, right? Stay by your plan. Simulated pressures. They're giving everybody man looks, man indicators. There's another receiver up there at the top. Everybody getting man indicators. They are living and dying by it. Say what you want about the success rate, but they never backed off of it. And right here on these next 2 downs, they got exactly what they needed. They got a pressure, okay? It doesn't matter that the defensive backs got beat on this play. All that matters is that the pressure landed. The whole game, all they predicated themselves on is if 9 throws the ball, his butt better get hit. And they get home on the last 2 downs that they need to get home on to force this 50-yard field goal. Pressure in his face. Boom, they get him hit. Next play, they flush him out of the pocket. Boom, they get an incompletion. Next play, 3rd and 10. I think they give up another completion here. But this is the difference between those 2 plays right there are the difference between a 35-yard field goal and a 50-yard field goal. Those 2 plays, those 2 pressures out of man coverage, right? Winning on those 2 downs got this stop, in my opinion. As they dial up more pressure right here. Bring in 5 again. I mean, again, hey, live and die by, right? That was literally the layout of this football game. It's exactly how it shook out, right? Some plays they got home. Some plays he just delivered a strike in the face of pressure. They got the guy tackled, okay? Then they get on the ball again, and they do the same thing. Man coverage, bring some heat. Man coverage, bring some heat. He's got to check it out. Can't get it completed, throws it away. Can't get it completed, throws it away. Comes to the next down. Okay, comes to the next down. Tennessee stays in the same front. Not scared, not changing a bit. Living by it. You can call it hard-headed. You can call it what you want. Guess what? They get more pressure on the quarterback. Okay? And Jahmyr Gibbs is the one who has to execute right here. Okay? This is what sometimes I love about game plans like this in the sense that I'm not going to give up on it. You force other people to make the play. You force the other team to make the play on the road in a hostile environment. Jahmyr Gibbs has the ability to win this game right here, and he drops the ball. Literally. He drops the ball. Another critical down right here, 3rd and 10. Okay? What are they going to do? All day long, they've been a man football team with a bunch of pressure. Okay, looks like there's some confusion. So what are they going to do? Tennessee does a good job here. I believe they call a timeout. Yes, they do. Tennessee calls a timeout. There's some defensive confusion. They get right back on the ball. Does Alabama. Hold on. That was the timeout play. Sorry, I cut these a little funky. All right, Tennessee gets right back on the ball. Alabama's in empty. 5 guys walked up on the line of scrimmage. Has to be man coverage, right? Has to be man coverage. They got way too many bodies in the box right now and not enough eyes on the quarterback. You're thinking man coverage when you look at it. Boom, they bring 6. Got to be man. They get a hit, and they can't get the ball completed. Okay, Jermaine Burton yelling at the referee for a hold. But that was the game plan, right? The game plan was we might give up 450 yards today, guys. We don't care. We are going to live by it and die by it. I can respect that. And then on the other end, it was about your football team making plays. I mean, this is just dots galore. Ball into, three guys in that window right here playing zone coverage. You got a guy up underneath. You got a guy over the top. You got a guy hanging out here, and he's going to throw this ball here. What? I mean, come on. That's a dot. Also, by the way, guys, shouts out to Heupel for having such good clock management, timeout management that he had 2 timeouts left with 14 seconds left in his last possession. He held those timeouts till the last minute, literally. And then your guy goes and makes a play. Again, dichotomy of this football game. I think it was a lot of chaos, but it was a lot of Tennessee football players making daggone ball plays. And you got to tip your cap to that right there. Look, I think there was a lot that went right in that football game for Tennessee to win it. Don't get me wrong. But, dude, when you can respond in the way that they did to Alabama's offensive output, right, particularly Bryce Young, when a guy's playing like that, a lot of teams just fold like, dang, we ain't – I mean, every time we give our best shot, this guy keeps getting up off the canvas. Eventually, it feels like he's going to kill you, especially when things like interceptions happen. They turn around, the defense gets a stop all of a sudden. And then you fumble the football for a touchdown. Now you're down 7 midway through the fourth quarter. What do? You go on a drive, an 11-play drive where you run the ball 6 consecutive snaps in a row against Alabama in the fourth quarter when you're supposed to be an air raid football team and everyone thinks you're that. Tip of the cap, dude. I know a lot of people, this might be our least viewed episode ever because a lot of Georgia fans, I would imagine, don't want to watch me talk about how other teams are good. But there are some other good football teams in college football. Tennessee's one of them. Tennessee, to me, showed championship DNA no different than when Georgia showed championship DNA in the national title game. That fumble return for a touchdown, coming back, beating Alabama, that is no different than Stetson Bennett having the goofiest fumble come out of his hand and daggum an Alabama defensive back just goofing off, catching the ball one-handed and happened to having his feet inbounds by a quarter of an inch. Surviving those goofy momentum swing environments in football, championship teams do that in college football because they have to. They have to stay perfect. Tennessee stayed perfect Saturday because they, overcame all of those momentum swinging moments of the football game. Shouts out to those guys. Shouts out to you guys for watching. Appreciate you. See you next time. Love you.